Welcome to this explainer. Okay, tell me if this sounds familiar. You're walking across your living room and, whoops, you almost trip over this weird, mysterious wave in your carpet. Or maybe you're constantly staring at a frayed edge by the hallway, just wondering, do I really need to rip this entire floor out? Well, today we are breaking down the mechanics and honestly the economics of carpet repair. We're going to help you figure out exactly when to fix it, when to completely replace it, and whether or not you should actually attempt a weekend DIY rescue on those floors. So take a second and just think about your floors. Why is your carpet rippling in the first place? Those unsightly waves are a whole lot more than just a tripping hazard for you and your family. They're actually a huge red flag that a mechanical failure is happening right beneath your feet. So we're going to explore the hidden, underlying reasons behind this incredibly frustrating household annoyance.
All right, here is our roadmap for this explainer. First up, common carpet catastrophes. Next, the DIY knee kicker trap. After that, power stretching explained, followed by padding 8-pound versus 10-pound. And finally, repair versus replacement costs. Let's get into it.
Section 1. Common carpet catastrophes and those everyday surface issues.
According to professional repair data, there are really 5 main threats to your carpet's lifespan. We're talking wrinkles and ripples, tears, snags and fraying edges, stubborn burns, loose seams, and of course, the classic pet damage. But what's really fascinating here is that the very first item, wrinkles and ripples, that makes up the absolute most common repair call that professionals receive. They are usually just a symptom of improper installation, maybe some excess moisture from cleaning, or even just dragging heavy furniture across the room.
And here is exactly why you shouldn't just ignore those bumps. It leads to something called delamination. Basically, when you leave those ripples untreated, it actually causes the carpet's latex backing to crack and literally separate from itself. So the really crucial takeaway here is that what looks like a simple cosmetic wave on the surface will eventually lead to permanent hidden structural damage right at the foundation of your carpet. Moving right along to Section 2, the DIY knee kicker trap and the very real danger of DIY fixes.
Look, we've all been there. When you see a ripple, your first instinct is probably to just run to the local hardware store and rent a knee kicker. But here's the thing. A knee kicker is literally just a positioning tool. It completely lacks the actual stretching force you need to truly fix a carpet. Compare that to a professional power stretcher, which uses hundreds of pounds of tension. If you try to fix a ripple with just a knee kicker, you can actually destroy the carpet's backing, and the experts guarantee that ripple will almost certainly pop right back up.
Which brings us to Section 3, Power Stretching Explained, and the true mechanical solution.
The big thing to understand here is that true correction isn't just about forcefully yanking at the edge of the carpet. It actually requires the hundreds of pounds of tension that are mandated by the Carpet and Rug Institute, or CRI, standards. Professional power stretchers literally brace against opposing walls to apply this massive, perfectly even tension across the entire room. A DIY knee kicker simply doesn't have that kind of structural force.
Now, you may be thinking, okay, well, I'll just go buy my own power stretcher. Well, take a look at this price tag, $997.95. Yep, that is the retail cost for a Roberts Falcon Power Stretcher Value Kit. These are highly specialized, super expensive pieces of equipment, which honestly makes hiring a certified pro a logistical and financial necessity for the vast majority of us.
All right, Section 4, padding, the great 8-pound versus 10-pound debate.
Going beneath the carpet surface, there is a stark difference between your two main padding options. You've got your standard 8-pound Rebond pad, which is made from recycled foam. It costs about 45 cents per square foot and gives you that comfy, classic feel. On the other hand, the 10-pound urethane pad is a uniform memory foam that costs more than double. We're talking $1.11 a square foot, and it is incredibly firm. Installers actually describe walking on it as feeling kind of like a wrestling mat. So when you look at the consensus from real-world installers, like over in the Reddit flooring communities, the verdict becomes pretty clear. While that 10-pound padding is absolutely phenomenal for heavy commercial use and longevity, that extreme firmness is usually just overkill for a cozy living room. Installers pretty much all agree that the 8-pound Rebond pad is the absolute perfect sweet spot for your home when it comes to comfort and price. Honestly, it'll usually outlive the carpet itself.
And hey, speaking of outliving the carpet, I just love this piece of advice from a veteran installer. If you want to test a carpet's durability, pull up a single yarn, untwist it between your fingers, and let it go. Does it snap back fully, or does it just lay there dead? If it springs back tight, you will likely never see a wear path. It's just a brilliant tactile little test you can do yourself to gauge carpet density before you ever hand over your credit card.
Okay, Section 5, Repair versus Replacement Costs and Making the Smart Financial Choice.
So if your carpet is failing that snapback test, or if it's super wrinkled and torn up, you might be tempted to just call it quits and rip it all out. But hold on a second. Professional stretching for a standard empty room only takes about 1 to 2 hours, and it usually costs anywhere between $100 and $300. Now keep in mind, if you've got a room packed with heavy furniture that the crew has to move, or if you need a complex patch job to fix a crazy burn mark, the labor price is definitely going to go up. But even then, this creates a massive return on investment. The contrast here is just wild. A high-end professional stretching repair might cost you around $300, but a full carpet replacement, that can easily run you $4,000. So, by spending less than 10% of the replacement cost, a simple repair can literally add 5 to 7 years to your carpet's life, instantly fixing the safety issues and making your room look great again.
Well, we've covered the hidden structural damage of ripples, the physical limits of those hardware store knee kickers, the heavy-duty mechanics of power stretching, and the clear-cut economics of repair. So I want to leave you with this final thought. What is actually hiding under your floors right now, and is your next weekend DIY project really worth the risk? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. The next time you feel a weird bump under your feet, you're going to know exactly what's happening structurally and exactly what it takes to get it fixed.